Well, what we're doing is, number one, is two things that we're doing. Number one, we're building a space where students can come in and become creators, entrepreneurs, and giving them really the resources to where they can go out and start businesses and create jobs for people. On the flip side of things, from the ownership perspective, I call it reverse gentrification. You go into a neighborhood that is up and coming, typically it's outsiders, if you will, that come in and unlock the value and they set up shop there. What we've done instead is do the same thing, but offer up ownership to the community in pieces as low as $100, so where they can own the project with us. So there's around 5,000 people of color, first-time real estate owners that own this project with us.
How did this happen? Because I mean, what an innovative concept here. How did this all come about?
Well, it was really when the pandemic hit, because we were building this one here, and I saw everybody was concerned about losing their jobs, their lives, and there was a lot of frantic energy around. So I just tried to offer something positive. Now, we've already funded the whole thing, so I just carved out a small piece of it. I said, look, no one's coming to save you, us, anybody, and this is the reality. We got to make the best of it. So I just tried to promote ownership, because the number one driver behind the wealth gap between, let's say, people of color and everybody else is that people of color don't own real estate at the same rate. And real estate is the number one driver, not only behind the wealth gap, the number one, I believe 90% of millionaires come from owning property for a period of time, and it just tends to happen that way. So I want to give people a pathway to that. And I started from scratch with $79 years ago. And even though half my family's from here, I'm a Danish citizen, my visa had expired. So I was going through the whole process where I couldn't work, and I was getting my green card. And I started with that. So I just saved up, bought my first property, and I said, you know what, if I can do it, I was a sports writer. Anybody else can. So I'm just trying to give people a pathway and show them the blueprint. And if they don't want to follow the blueprint, just come along with us. So that's really what it is.
So you started from scratch.
Yes.
We're standing in
building
right one
yes,
here.
Yes.
2 and 3 going up across the
right,
street.
Exactly.
But when, take me through the construction and the process of getting this first one up and running.
Okay, I didn't have that much money at the time, so I had done one project, which I did, which was called an FHA mortgage. You put down 3.5%, you can buy a multifamily unit, meaning I bought one with 3 apartments in it for $750. But again, the down payment was $20,000, whatever, not very much. And then from there, it appraised at north of $1 million. And that equity you can leverage, you can use that to go out and buy more property. So wait a minute, this is how you create wealth? Okay. So I ended up I continued that, and my dad and my nephew, they saw what I was doing. They said, hey, can we get in on that? So we put a little bit of money together, bought a few properties, and this piece of land here was one of them. The reason I bought this here is, number one, I went for a walk around Temple, and I saw there's all this stuff coming up. And I thought to myself, okay, there's something I can afford. The land was $112,000 at the time. Then we just started going through the process of getting the architectural approvals and going through the design, and really from idea to pen to paper to building it. So once we started getting that going, because I want to make sure people came in without having the same amount of risk that I had on the front end. So came in while the construction was ongoing and built this, and that's when I always had the vision that I wanted it to be a place where people can create instead of just cramming people into a room in bunk beds.
And Nat was telling me Temple is now involved.
Yeah, for sure. So Temple University is a business school, and they're accelerators. An accelerator is a concept where you put people together, have an idea, and help them bring to the next stage of the next phase of their business, from idea to execution and launch. So since we are having a house that houses, a building that houses entrepreneurs, it made perfect sense. They reached out, they saw an article, an interview that I had done, and we came together. So now cross-promoting events, their students have a place specifically where they can live if they have that type of interest. And this over here on the other side is just going to be this, but on steroids. Over here right now we have, in this building, it has room for 17 people. Over there we'll have 88. And the first 32 will be available in January. So it's gonna be really cool. And I'm hoping to put even more stuff in there. That's that podcast studio, all sorts of selfie stations and conference rooms, similar to this one, but just again on a much bigger scale.
If someone sees this and they want to get involved, what is the process like to come in and invest as well?
Sure. So my company's called NICE, NYCE, and we have an app that's similar to Robinhood. And just like you can own a piece of Amazon or Tesla, you can own a piece of either our portfolio of properties. We have around 2,000 apartments now. We started from scratch to get to that point. Or you can pick the individual properties, this one being one of them. This one is closed out now because this one was sold out. But that one over there, I believe if it's not sold out, it's close to sold out. but this one will be where people can come in next. We may open up for more people, but typically that's what it is. You just download the app, you go in there and you look at it and you see which property you want to own a piece of. Some may want to own, think of Amazon. Amazon owns Whole Foods and a bunch of other stuff, Alexa, what have you. You can own Amazon, or you can own one of their subsidiaries. In this case, I don't think Whole Foods is publicly traded, but let's pretend they were. Then you can own Whole Foods directly, and that's the same thing. You can own a piece of Temple 1 or Temple 2, Temple 3, if that's what you want to do, or you can own a piece of the portfolio as a whole, which is, again, and these are numbers that are out there. Since we started and we brought people in, the portfolio has grown by 105%, meaning people came in and doubled their money. So that's one of the things I'm most proud of, is that giving. So when people come in and they do something, take a leap of faith, it's very, very important that you give them a really good experience, because people that haven't done it, they're so used to, oh my God, there has to be a catch somewhere, because people go through adversity, and until you break that chain of adversity, it's really difficult to see where the opportunities lies. So that's really been the main priority for me, is to show them proof of concept, bring them here, and that's why I always try to be available to people and be transparent in everything we do and show them the process from A to B to Z. So that's what it is.